So, what's up, movie nerds? Welcome back. We're doing another Instagram Live, and I will post this on YouTube as well. Thank you for joining us. This is a very spur of the moment. We literally hours ago planned to do this. It was the 13-year anniversary of A24 being founded, so we actually just wanted to throw this together last minute and talk about A24 and basically our top 6 favorite films from the studio. So I thought it was pretty cool, and thank you, Chad, of course. And this is your first Instagram Live, ain't
it? Yeah, definitely. I had no idea what was going on.
Cool. I was like, yeah, we'll have to do more of these and everything else. But yeah, I'm trying to slowly transition the channel. We do a lot of audio podcasts and things like that. I'm trying to slowly transition over to a video format and stuff like that. I've been reaching out to Andrew at the Revisionist Almanac. He's been very helpful and stuff like that. So I'm taking baby steps, but I'm hoping to get to like a video format here soon. But yeah, we'll do the Instagram Live. But yeah, like I said before, this is like literally last minute, but what we're going to do is basically the layout of the show is we're going to give our honorable mentions of what our favorite A24 films are, and then also give our top 6 personal favorite films from A24. And just know too as well, this isn't like a power ranking or something like that. We're saying, oh, these are the best A24 films. No, we're just saying what's personally our favorite and what's personal to us. And, basically we'll give details to why we like it and things like that. Yeah. But yeah, a little bit about A24. Like I said, it's one of my favorite distribution studios working today. I think Neon and A24 are my top 2 favorites and stuff. But A24, I love it because they're not all hits. It's not all hits and everything else. They do have misses as well. But they're a rare studio that's gone on for the past 15 years that I think you actually see the vision of the actual filmmaker. And what I mean by that, it doesn't feel like a studio film. And granted, don't get me wrong, like major studios, they have that originality and you see that vision of the director. Kind of like just like this year going on right now in 2025 is we have, Weapons, and then you have Sinners and things like that. Christopher Nolan, I know Martin Scorsese's, like a lot of like big name directors, and then there's rare times that you actually see the vision of the actual filmmaker. And that's what I love about A24. It doesn't matter big or small. I feel like I'm actually getting the vision of the actual filmmaker that made it and stuff like that. So that's what I just love about A24. And such a really cool underdog story because they're not really a big studio, but they end up winning. They got a couple Best Pictures under their belt. They won all kinds of acting awards. It's like they're very like art house film, and they're basically the underdogs, and they make a big splash. So that's what I love about it. But all right, so with all the boring stuff out of the way, like I said, just to celebrate the A24 13-year anniversary, let's get this thing started. So we're going to start out with our honorable mentions of what our favorite, some of our favorite A24 films. And Chad, did you want to take it away, or you want me to go first?
Yeah, no, I don't mind. I can definitely give you my 10 honorables. And as you just said, since this is kind of spur of the moment, I don't have like as much research on my laptop as I usually would, where I'd be able to speak a little bit more intelligently on the list. But so it's going to be mainly read the list off, and we can kind of comment about things from there. But I will start with my top 10 for honorable mentions in no particular order. And you want me to just rattle them off, or you want to stop at each one? What do you think?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I was going to say your honorable mentions, just go ahead and just rapid fire those. But when we get into the top 6 or whatever, we'll do the tennis thing where we go back and forth, 6-6, 5-5, blah, blah, blah. So take it away.
Yeah. Perfect. That sounds good. And I know some of my honorable mentions will probably end up being in your top 6. So, wouldn't really need to talk much about them because you'll cover them when we get to them anyways. Because my number 10 for honorable mention is The Lighthouse. That a new one that just came out that I've really enjoyed. Its craziness was Death of a Unicorn, streaming now. Killing of a Sacred Deer, The Witch, Uncut Gems, Ex Machina, Maxine, Midsummer, Pearl, and Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. That is my top 10 honorable mentions.
Oh, I totally forgot about Marcel the Shell. I was like, I love that movie. That's so good.
Love that movie.
Very heartfelt and very pure and just good. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all right, I'll go with my honorable mentions. As you can see, right behind me, this is first right off the bat. Is in honor of this, I put her in the background. Is I have Ty West's Pearl in her hand. I love that, an incredible performance by Mia Goth. I love it because it has that Wizard of Oz feel, but it's horror and well, basically our house horror is what I call it and stuff like that. And I just love the cinematography, the beautiful colors, costume design, and the red dress with the axe and stuff like that. It's so iconic with Mia Goth. The next one I have is Ari Aster's Midsummer. An incredible performance by Florence Pugh. That was one of my big first introductions of Florence Pugh, and we obviously see how popular in the world she is today. That she's a fantastic actress, and she just kills it in that movie. The next one I have is the Best Picture winner. We have Barry Jenkins' Moonlight. We talked about this film in the top 20, our top 10 films of the 21st century. It's up on the YouTube channel right now. But the unfortunate thing is, like, it drives me nuts because that was the whole Academy Awards with the debacle of La La Land, and Moonlight ended up there. I feel like everything is going to be remembered from that Academy Awards that they messed up, they botched the thing, and Moonlight didn't get its proper spotlight and stuff like that. But it's an incredible film by Barry Jenkins, won Best Picture. The next one I have is Jeremy Saulnier's Green Room. Without spoilers, it's basically a band that plays for these Nazi crazy racist people at this concert, and then they end up witnessing a murder and they get trapped in the green room, and it goes from there. So I'll leave it at that. And then but it's an incredible film. I absolutely loved it. And then the next it's kind of a double whammy, is Yorgos Lanthimos. I love him as a filmmaker. He's very weird. He's not everybody's cup of tea, but he is my cup of tea. And I have The Lobster, and then I also have Killing of a Sacred Deer. I love both of those films. They're very weird and disturbing and just dry humor at the bottom of the ocean type stuff. But like I said, Yorgos isn't for everybody, but he's my cup of tea. But and then next I have the Safdie brothers of Good Time. This was actually the film that I would say The Rover, which is also an A24 film as well, but it was the Good Time that really threw Robert Pattinson into I took him very serious as an actor. And I'm just I know he got out of the shadows of the Twilight era and things like that, but once I saw Good Times, I was like, okay, this is a very high caliber actor, and he keeps proving it every time with every role that he takes and stuff like that. And the next one I have is David Lowery, and this is a double whammy as well with Yorgos. I have David Lowery's A Ghost Story, and I also have The Green Knight. A Ghost Story is a very slow burn, so is The Green Knight. It's not everybody's cup of tea of as far as a slow burn and things like that, but I really enjoyed both of those films. And then it was my first big introduction to Rooney Mara, and I started taking notice of her and all that stuff. But yeah, just an incredible movies. And then the last two here I have is Sean Baker, who's a A24 darling and stuff like that, who just won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, all that stuff for Nora. But I have Sean Baker's The Florida Project. Like I said, I've a very strong film, very emotional, very hits home with me. There's a character in there that kind of hits home a lot with me. It's a very emotional film and stuff like that, but very well done, feeling so grounded and so real. And I was very happy to see, too, that it was actually one of the top 10 films of the 21st century when the New York Times did their thing. So that was very cool to see. And then my final film, this is, I was going to put it in the top 6, but that might kind of be recency bias and stuff like that. But I actually just got in the mail, I just got my collector's edition of it. And that is the Philippou Brothers, Bring Her Back. So, like I said, I absolutely love this film. Like I said, I thought it'd be recency bias to kind of put it in my top 6, but I really enjoyed that film. It's very, very rough. It's a rough film and stuff like that, but very well done. And then, of course, the Philippou Brothers did Talk to Me as well through A24. So I can't wait to see what's the next. But I want to give my final shout out to Bring Her Back by the Philippou Brothers. But that's what I had for my honorable mentions.
Very nice. I had the Talk to Me, even though I just have seen it recently. I had it just outside my top 10 on the honorable mentions. That I haven't seen Bring Her Back yet, but I'm excited to do that. So I just need to get caught up on all the other stuff.
Yeah.
as
All
usual.
right, cool.
Life.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and do this. All right, let's go with your number 6. What do you got at number 6?
My number 6, I picked the kind of funky horror comedy Y2K. It's a pretty new show. I liked it just because of how it was set, around the Y2K phenomena, having, being old now and having lived through that and kind of everything that was happening around it in the world, I kind of getting ready and for it to be the big dud that ended up being, which, isn't a bad thing, but they took it to the extreme where everything that you could imagine terrible was going to happen because of Y2K did, and everything that had electricity running to it was sentient and it started killing people and in the wackiest way possible. And it is a very fun, you don't have to think too hard about what's going on kind of a movie. And it's got a good cast in it. Jaden Martell, he's in It. He's one of the young kids in the new It series, and it's got Rachel Ziegler in it, and she does a really good job in it. And it's just a fun watch. And don't get too attached to any of the characters because they are gone in a hurry. You got the long-haired dude from the Stranger Things series, and it looks like he's kind of in it for the long haul, and he gets a pretty gruesome demise. But it's just, another reason then I love the subject matter because, I lived through it, and it was fun. It was well done, fun, and it's got Fred Durst in it from Limp Bizkit, and it's as absurd as it sounds. There's no reason at all for him to be in it, but he is, and he actually performs music in it too. So that's why it ended up in my top 6 of A24's Y2K.
Awesome. All right, coming up my number 6. This is probably gonna be my quickest breakthrough run through on a film and everything else, because when I tell you what the film is, I don't want to go away the twist or all that stuff, so I'm trying to keep it as limited as possible. But I want to give it its roses, like toss its roses at it and all that stuff. But coming in at number 6, I have Under the Skin by Jonathan Glazer. Like I said, there's a big twist in this, and like I said, I got to be careful and tiptoe around and walk on eggshells, what I'm about to say and stuff. But it's a fantastic film based on the book by the same name by Michael Faber. It stars Scarlett Johansson, obviously, in the main role. The cinematography by Daniel Layden. It's a phenomenal, beautiful film, very haunting, very a very horror vibe and things like that. One of the best sci-fi films, and I'll keep a wink at that for now. But a very incredible film, and a very underrated film as well. I know this bombed at the box office when it came out. I think it was it was made on what was it, a budget of $13 million, and only made $7 million at the box office. So it's one of those things, it's a very underrated gem. And then once again, back to the 21st century, the New York Times, the top 21st century films, it was actually in there. That was one of my favorite surprises, because it's one of my favorite films from A24. So it was just awesome to do that. But number 6, I had Jonathan Glazer's Under the Skin. Like I said, incredible film. Definitely check it out. One of the best twists in general, not just A24, but just in general of films in general in cinema. But I absolutely love it. It's awesome. I think a very underrated gem. But yeah, that's what I have at number 6.
That's great. I had that just outside my honorable mentions as well. It's a bizarre, interesting movie to watch. That's for sure. And Scarlett Johansson does an awesome job in it. She does a phenomenal job. So definitely one to go see if you haven't seen it. Find it streaming somewhere.
Oh yeah, and I believe if you have HBO Max, it's they have a big catalog of A24. I believe it's on there. I'm looking at it, but yeah,
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. I could have popped on the TV and looked real quick, but I'm pretty sure it is too.
Yep. All right, what you got? Number 5.
All right, my number 5. I've got 2018's Hereditary, an Ari Aster made movie, and another funny for me. I don't do a ton of horror when I do the my list, but it's a very a cerebral horror movie. It's a lot going on. There some jump scares and things, and just to piggyback on what you're saying, I'm not going to say too much about some of the crazy stuff, but other than it's such a well done movie, and it is horrifying in so many ways that if you haven't enjoyed Hereditary yet, you definitely should do that. Toni Collette has an amazing performance in it, and I don't think that she was nominated for anything for it, but it's a very good performance by her, and a great young cast of actors and actresses in it. That it's a haunting movie to watch for sure. And it's one of those things on the second and third watches you catch the things that you should have caught from the beginning, but it's what makes those movies so rewatchable. Such a good movie. Hereditary at my number 5.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, definitely haunting is the best word to describe that film. It's crazy. But all right, cool. Coming in at my number 5, this is actually the first A24 film I ever watched, and obviously introduced me to a director that I admire and is very inspirational to me still to this day and stuff like that. But coming in at number 5, I have Robert Eggers' The Witch. So, like I said, this is the first film I've seen by A24. This is kind of like my introduction to the studio, and then also to Robert Eggers, and who's still doing work to this day. I think he's one of the best filmmakers working today, and I always talk about it. I sound like a broken record, but I feel like that man just literally thinks, "Oh, I should make this film for James," and then he goes and makes it, because everything fuses perfectly with that man of filmmaking wise. But absolutely incredible. But yeah, I love The Witch. Like I said, it's very haunting. Robert Eggers, like, basically when he came on the screen, he has something of like very a master, not just of the details of the set pieces and things like that. That is down to. It was hilarious because in The Witch, it was like down to the candle holder. It had to be like historically accurate, and how people talked, how wagons looked, how the costume design did, all that stuff. It's just all the the intelligence that goes into his screenplays, and basically all the history is there. Like, the details are there, and that's like very hardcore, and I've never seen anything like it. And then also such a haunting horror atmosphere that he does with The Witch. And man, sorry I'm tongue tied. It's getting late. This was a late one. But anyways, But no, it was it just, the atmosphere is second to none. Like, I think he's untouched when it comes to atmosphere in films, and it's absolutely incredible. But yeah, I can't say anything more. Everybody knows how much I love Robert Eggers. But yeah, and then, of course, Jaron Blaschke, which I think his cinematography is still stunning, and he's actually done all of Robert Eggers' films, and recently just done Nosferatu, and I just like a phenomenal cinematographer. And yeah, I love it. But yeah, coming in at number 5, I had Robert Eggers' The Witch. All right, we got number 4.
My number 4 ties in with your poster behind you, but it is Ty West's X. So to go along with Pearl and Maxine, I've got the only of the 3 in my top 6 is X, and once again, an amazing performance for Mia Goth. But it's got a heck of a cast. We see Jenna Ortega's in it, and Brittany Snow. She has a great role in it, and it's just it's funny that it's where it all began, because it was the first of the trilogy, but yet we see that it was based on Pearl from the next movie. So it's you got to think a little bit about it when you're watching it. But if you take it as just the first movie, part of this trilogy with amazing performances, another great, horror romp that is just, fun to watch. It's so crazy. Like, my 3 so far have all been horror. That's really strange for me. So if you've seen any of my other stuff, if I can't squeeze in, Hot Fuzz or, Shaun of the Dead or something, it's weird. But in this case, it's, 3 kind of horror movies in a row, which is, I don't know that'll ever happen again, but all great movies. I loved X, and it really, for me, kickstarted, that love for Mia Goth and her amazing performances yet to come. This was in 2022 when this came out, but she's phenomenal and just continues to do really, really great things. So that's where I got him at X.
All right, cool. All right, going on to, what are we on, number 4?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So coming in at number 4 is the Best Picture winner, and that is the Daniels, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. So Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, man, where do you begin with this film? It is literally everything, everywhere, all at once. It's like literally a great martial arts film. It's a great film about the restructuring and healing of a relationship between a daughter and a mother, a wife and a husband, a father and a daughter, and like basically what's best for them. And basically a look at your life. And they say in this movie, as a bagel, is your life is going around the same circle and circle, like you're being sucked into a bagel. It's just, there's so many details, and I know a lot of people look at this and say it's weird and it's goofy, because it is. It is absolutely weird and goofy, and that's why I love it. It's my kind of weird, and just speaks so much to my heart. And I just love this film so much. But the deep subject matter that they have, and the silliness and the bonkerness, it's incredible. And I'm not joking. This is probably like, it reminds me of like old school Jackie Chan films. That's how good the mixed martial arts and stuff like that is in this film. Like I love it. It's absolutely incredible. And what is it? Of course, legend Michelle Yeoh, who's acted with Jackie Chan, and she's also a fantastic martial art and stunt person herself. And then you have Stephanie Sue, which I still think to this day she should have won Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars. Even though I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but yeah, I was like, I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but I still to this day I don't see how they didn't give it to Stephanie Sue.
I can't figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then one of my favorite Best Supporting Actors wins of all time at the Academy Awards was Ki-Hu Kwan. He's just absolutely incredible, and it was such a cool like off-screen story too, because he stepped away from Hollywood for like acting wise for like 30 years, and then comes back, and then it's just like and just like does this Cinderella story of just like and I loved it in his Academy Award speech. He said, "This is the American dream." And it was just the coolest story ever. And it's such a special film. Literally the definition of you've never seen anything like it. And it's awesome. And I'm just, in the best way possible, I don't mean this in a rude way, I mean this in the most complimentary way, still shocked and so happy when it won Best Picture. Like, me and you, we talked about it too. I was like, I walked out and everything else. I'm like, man, I'm just like, my favorite movie of the year. I'm like, it's so awesome. I'm like, or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm like getting overhyped and all that stuff inside my head and all that stuff. And then, the Academy Awards comes around, ends up winning Best Picture, and I'm just like, never in a million years, especially the Academy, the voters and things like that, to vote something like that to become a Best Picture winner was the best thing ever. But yeah, the Daniels, they killed it in this film. I absolutely loved it. Fantastic cast. Won every freaking Oscar you can think of. What is it, like Best Supporting Actress, and one for Best Supporting Actor, Best Lead Actress, one Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Sound. It just cleaned up at the Oscars, and it's one of the
it swept it.
Yeah, it's just one of the coolest stories ever overall. But coming in at number 4, I have the Daniels, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And if it was ever possible for there to have been a tie for supporting actress for that year, it would have been awesome to get Stephanie and Julie. If they could all won together, that would have been the capper on it. But it's one of those things, like when we left that theater, and you'd already seen it. It was my first time seeing it. After we left that theater, you felt like maybe it's just that viewing high, where you just saw something amazing. You're just like, man, that was like the best thing I've ever seen. And then you just figure like a couple days later to be like, oh no, I've had a chance to think about it. And it's like, yeah, that was a good movie, but it wasn't like, the best, wasn't great. But it just never went away. And by the time the Academy announcements came out and it was nominated, I was just like, there's just no way anything could beat it. I mean, just from our perspective, having really loved the movie. So, So, okay, so I bogarted your time there a little bit. Sorry about that. So my number 3 I have coming in is Nicolas Cage's Dream Scenario. And that's one of those ones that I watched it. I watched it one night when Faith fell asleep, and I'm just sitting there. What should I watch? And I usually watch a movie to, kind of get myself ready to go to bed and stuff. And so I was like, yeah, I've been meaning to watch it, so I watched it. And man, it stays with you for a while. It is a fever dream and a half of a movie where, for some reason, in this world where Nicolas Cage is a professor at a university, somehow he weasels his way into everyone's dreams. So everyone starts to have these dreams, and then with social media, people are going on and describing their dreams, and this guy, they're describing him, and so eventually his picture starts circulating. Everyone's like, yeah, that's him. That's the guy in my dream. And so take that as you will for what kind of a crazy movie this is. But, in a dream that he has about himself, he's hunting himself with a crossbow. And, it is wild. It is wild stuff. But, he becomes kind of a pseudo celebrity with the internet, and he's getting, interviewed by, major news studios and stuff, and like basically, how are you doing this? How are you getting into our dreams? And he's like, I have no idea what's going on. So from there, it gets crazier and crazier. I mean, the longer he's in people's dreams, the more violent he becomes, the more crazed he becomes, but not himself really. It's just the guy in the dream. So just as he's there in their subconscious more and more, it gets just more and more violent and wacky, But good, obviously Nick Cage, he does wacky and he does crazy very well. So great performance by him. A really good, lesser known group of cast members, but still a very fun, enjoyable A24 movie and dream scenario. So I dug it a lot, and I think about it at least once a week. For some reason, I think about that movie. It's just strange.
Cool. Yeah, it's like that's actually another. It's shocking too, because I've seen all of Nicolas Cage's films, but that's one of the ones I haven't seen yet, and I need to check it out.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah, I thought you said you hadn't seen it yet. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, 'cause he had a really big resurgence, like in the 2020s and all that stuff, and like I really like the roles he took and stuff like that. And then speaking of Neon and all that stuff, he did a film by Michael Sarnowski called Pig, and he's excellent in it. And just like, what a resurgence!
Amazing,
that's another one too. Yeah, I need to check out and stuff. But all right, that's all you got.
That's it for Dream Scenario. Check it out. It's streaming everywhere right now, I think.
All right, cool. All right, so coming at my number 3, I have a film that you literally just got done talking about as well, and that is Ari Aster's Hereditary. Like I said, I need to get a steelbook or a freaking collector's edition or something like that. But anyways, Hereditary. Chad basically literally the best description of words that you could think of with that film, and that is haunting. Like after I watched it, I was just haunted. It sticks for you for days. I didn't have that feeling at all since the Exorcist from the 70s, and like I said, it just feels like it just like literally sticks with you. So there's some scenes in that where you'll never not be able to think about it. It's just it happens, and you're just like, holy cow, what did I just witness happen? So it's a amazing movie. And it's horror, yes, but it's just a lot more going on in there. And that's what you find with a lot of the A24 stuff. It's more than just the surface. It's not. There's a lot happening that is really thought out and just well crafted movies. I think that's the point we're getting to here. Is that it's always a lot of love and attention made to these movies to, I think, make them as best. The best thing available at that time, so it's we got Hereditary, man. Amazing. Yeah, and then it's up on the Movie Nerd James YouTube channel right now as well. Is you have we did our top 10 2010s films, and this is actually one of my top 10 films from the 2010s. And I went a little bit more details and things like that. And if you haven't seen the film, there's a lot more spoiler talk stuff in there. So if you want to, go towards that and want to see my more detailed spoiler talk of that, definitely check it out. But for spoiler free right now, we're doing this live. It was, Chad said it before, Tony Collette. I still think one of the biggest robberies at the Academy Awards was, the overlook of horror performances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, the film doesn't have to be your cup of tea, but there's no doubting that Tony Collette is absolutely out of this world good in that film. And I also think Alex Wolff was excellent in the film as well. And then, and Chad, like Chad said too, like Ari Aster, what he crafted and he wrote and directed this film, and what he crafted with the film is just so incredible because there's so much details in the film, like with Payman, the demon, and all that stuff that they deal with this. Like they talk about his coming of being like trumpets, and then you hear in the score, there's a lot of trumpets at the music and stuff like that. And you have like details about Toni Collette's her past with her family tree and all that stuff, and then you get all these details. It's just like it's incredibly well done. It comes together and probably, I'm going to say, one of the craziest, last 15 minutes of the film I've ever seen, ever, and all that stuff. It's absolutely haunting. And I had Chloe Parks, who's been on here a lot and stuff like that, and she's been on many of the Movie Nerd James lives episodes and stuff like that. But it was so funny. The first time I seen the film was with her, and when she came out, she was just like just doing that like war stare, like that feel, like, and she was just so haunted and stuff like that. I felt so bad for her because we were supposed to do like a spoiler talk afterwards, but she was so messed up from the film. She's like, I'm just gonna go home. Why don't we do this some other time and stuff like that and all that stuff. So it was just crazy the effect that had on that. And I know it's heartbreaking too, because I know a lot of people, they say like this movie's overrated and things like that, but I wish they would look at the details that are put into this film of how well crafted Ari Aster did with this film. And it's just tremendous work. And like I said, it's a film I think haunts you for days. And honestly, I've seen in the A24 like fan community and stuff like that, this is like the godfather of A24 films and stuff like that. So a lot of people really, really praise this film, and it's well deserved because it is an excellent film by Ari Aster. But coming in at number 3, I had Ari Aster's Hereditary. So.
Awesome, love it. All right, so that'll put me at my number 2 is the 2016 Danny Radcliffe film Swiss Army Man, also starring Paul Dano. I remember first seeing trailers for this thing back in 2015 when this getting ready to come out, and it's like, it looks interesting, but nothing will prepare you for Danny Radcliffe being used as a harpoon gun, a jet ski at one point. So Paul Dano is stranded on this island, and he comes across the deceased Danny Radcliffe, and he decides to kind of drag him along with him, as he's trying to make his way off of this island, and come to find out, he's a Swiss Army Man. He's got all kinds of uses, so he uses him for different things, from starting a fire to helping him catch fish to shelter, anything you could think of. The corpse of Danny Radcliffe ends up helping him get himself off the island, and trust me, it is way crazier than anything I just said, but it's a very, very fun, if you can call dragging a dead body around and using them for different things, a fun movie to watch. But it's very well done, and Paul Dano is fantastic in it, and I think Mary Elizabeth Winstead is in it as well. Once he gets off the island, and maybe in some, if I remember correctly, maybe in some like flashbacks and stuff, but a great, fun, kind of like like a demented castaway kind of retelling, but good because Paul Dano starts off with like a beard and stuff, and he looks crazy. He tries to end himself at one point, and ends up when he finds Daniel Radcliffe, and his fortunes change. But good fun movie, still out there everywhere to stream, and check out the Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, and going back to what I said before too was with Yorgos Lanthimos. This was another one. This is the Daniels that did this, who I just got done talking about with Everything Everywhere at Once. Is like,
that's right.
It's impossible to recommend this film to people. They're just like, they're like, so what's it about? I'm like, I can't really tell you. It's impossible to tell you. I'm like, and then you start explaining it, and it makes you sound like a psychopath. The more and more you explain it to somebody, you're just like, I can't explain it, but just all that stuff. But yeah, it's a great pick.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing about it sounds like you would want to see it, but it really is worth watching.
Yeah, it's like with Daniel Radcliffe, it was such a cool role for him to take on too. I was just like, it was so cool. But and then of course Paul Dano and stuff like that. We know how amazing he is. So it was just a brilliant, cool collaboration of those two actors together. So yeah, it's great.
Definitely.
All right, cool. All right, coming in at my number two, getting the last two films here and everything else. Once again, I just got done bragging about this man and how inspirational and how awesome I think he is. But also coming in at number two, I have The Lighthouse in our hand. This is my little collector's edition from A24, and so. Oh man, The Lighthouse. Talking about like Everything Everywhere at Once. The Lighthouse is every bit of that definition of one of a kind. Like you've never seen anything like it. And then another film that I can't really. How it hit me, yes, I know the explanation of what it's about and stuff like that hits me, but I'm just like, what's the film about? It's like it's about two dudes just going out of their mind. And so it's pretty short and dry, and literally it's a bottled movie. It literally takes place in this house and cabin, this island in the lighthouse, and there's only 2 cast members in the whole film, if you don't count the mermaid. But yeah, it's just like you have the bird, all that stuff. But as far as actors, you have 2 actors, and that is Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, and they both are absolutely amazing. It's like this is my favorite in his incredible filmography, or legendary filmography, I should say, because he's one of the best actors of all time. This is my favorite role of Willem Dafoe. I think he is absolutely incredible in this film. I think from the one lines, the one takes, the monologue, just absolutely kills it, and just shows why he is one of the best of all time. And then of course Robert Pattinson, coming off Good Time, and then he did The Lighthouse, and then went on to do Tenet, and Mickey 17 is just like all these crazy things, went to the Batman, things like that. But it's just it was another thing solidifying that he's out of that Twilight shadow, and he is one of the most amazing actors working today. He's absolutely incredible in this film. And it's a film that feels like a fever dream, that you're going psychotic in your own mind. It feels like maybe if I took drugs, this is probably what it would be like. I've never touched drugs in my life, but I'm pretty sure this is how it's going to feel. And it's probably the most trippy movie I've ever seen since Penas Cosmatos' Mandy and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It's a mind trip. It's one of a kind. I love the black and white and the format that they shot this on. The 119 aspect, 119:1 aspect ratio, I think it was. And then once again, getting back to Jaron Blasky, who did the cinematography. This was actually his first Oscar nomination for cinematography, so well deserved. It's absolutely incredible. And then Robert Eggers and his brother Max Eggers, they wrote this film together, so it was really cool to see 2 brothers collaborate, and just an amazing film. Like I said, coming off The Witch, and then you do The Lighthouse, and then obviously after this you did The Northman, and then Nosferatu. It's just one of the most inspirational filmmakers, and if people say like originality is dead, and then go watch this film, because it's absolutely incredible. And I think it does a good job of, I wouldn't say modernizing, because this doesn't take place in modern day, but it's like a really cool twist and take on the Prometheus story in Greek mythology. So it's pretty cool. So, but no, but yeah, coming in at number 2, just one of my favorite films of all time. One of my favorite films by Robert Eggers, and of course, my second favorite film by A24, and that is Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. It's absolutely incredible. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Every pure definition of the word, one of a kind. You've never seen anything like it. And like I said, just forewarning, you'll feel like you're going psychotic, just like the 2 characters in the film. So it's awesome. So yeah, that's why I had at number 2 was Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse.
That's awesome. That's a great explanation of that, and also a good example for filmmakers or budding filmmakers to look at the storytelling part of it versus big budget effects and all that stuff. I mean, you can craft a beautiful, well told story on a budget. I mean, you got Robert Pattinson, you got Willem Dafoe in there and stuff. Yeah, so it was still an expensive movie to make. But I'm saying that if you're watching these and you're thinking, I can't compete because I don't have the budget to do what we're seeing in Avengers or stuff like that, then it's a good film to show people and say, like, if you got a good story and you're good at your craft, you can make a movie that people will love, even though it's not guns and bombs and crazy stuff happening all the time. Yeah, well, no, I'll take it back. It is crazy. Crazy stuff is happening all the time, but I just mean in a way that is cheap. So and that's strictly because of the phenomenal work by the actors there. So that's why it works. But I still think that it's a good way to tell people that you can, still make a modern movie relatively inexpensive, and as long as you're a good storyteller, you're going to end up with something worth watching. So that's kind of where I was getting to that.
Yeah, and then Eggers, like the behind the scenes and stuff like that, because of course when that movie came out, I was obsessed with it. So I found out like every detail of information I could find. I was just like, I dove right into it. But they were talking about like the biggest budget thing on that was actually the lighthouse. They actually built that. It complete and stuff like that. Basically, how they couldn't maneuver the camera through an actual lighthouse. They couldn't find one that they thought looked creepy enough. They couldn't find a lighthouse that just fit perfectly at what they wanted visually, and then also filmmaking wise, where you can maneuver cameras and get your crew through, the actors, and be safe and all that stuff. So they actually built that lighthouse and stuff like that. So it was really cool and just an awesome story. And the movie, and I forgot to say that too as well. The movie feels so in the best way possible. Like I said, it brings so much character to the film, but it's so dirty. It's just down in the muck. It's like, and like I said, every bit of the nightmare, because I'm like, God, I do not want to live in this. I don't want to be in there. I'm like, it's just every bit of a word. Like I said, feels like a fever dream or a nightmare or stuff like that. Just a psychological horror nightmare is basically the best way to explain it. But yeah, it's awesome. But all right, cool. All right, drum roll. What you got coming in at number 1?
Well, you've already covered it, and I consider it honestly one of my favorite movies of probably the last 20 years. I would put it top 5, and it's Everything Everywhere All at Once. So we've talked about it, and I think we've given it its due on how much we love that. And for me, that is the best A24 movie. Even though it's not necessarily a power ranking for me, I started with that one first. When you said, "Hey, tomorrow let's get together and let's do this list," and that's the first thing that came to my mind was number 1's got to be Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's just such a man. What more can you say? We've talked about it a lot, and I could watch it anytime, any place. I might turn it on after we get done doing this and watch it, because it is phenomenal in every way that you said during your countdown of it, and it's just phenomenal. So, yep. I mean, I don't need to beat a dead horse there, but that's where I'm at with my number 1, Everything Everywhere All at Once again.
Cool. All right. Well, sorry, I was trying to bring up. Give me a moment here. Let's see here. Let's go with the film.
I didn't talk long enough, did I?
No, you're good. I was like, my number 1 film. I actually have a spoiler-free review of it
Oh,
because I want people to go watch it and stuff like that. So give me just a moment. But no, I'm going through my
that's
letterbox
great.
reviews right now, and I didn't realize I have like 16 pages worth of reviews. So
Oh, no, dang. No, that's
there,
great.
here we go. All right, cool. All right, cool. All right. So my this is my favorite A24 film of all time, coming in at number one. And like I said, I fall in love with this film more and more every time. Like I said, it was my number one film. If you go to our YouTube channel, the Movie Near James YouTube channel, it was my number one favorite film with the 2010s. My number one favorite A24 film, and just one of my absolute favorite films of all time, and that is Alex Garland's Ex Machina. Like I said, I absolutely adore this film, love it. This is my spoiler-free review and stuff like that, and I'll talk a little bit more like what details about the film. But I said it's a magnificent directorial debut by Alex Garland, one of my most cherished all-time favorite sci-fi movies, and my number one ranked film from A24. The absolute best, most jaw-dropping visual effects I've ever seen are presented. It was visually breathtaking how flawless the visual effects on Ava, the character, looked. The 2016 Oscar winner for Best Achievement in Visual Effects at the Academy Awards, and well deserved. I said phenomenal performances by the three main leads of Oscar Isaacs, Alicia Vikander, and Donald Gleason. I said what a power trinity. The story is so engaging, it's intelligent, it's haunting, plays wonderful emotional dark tricks on the human mind, and director Alex Garland crafts a nightmarish tension on a masterful level. I was enamored by Alex Garland's Ex Machina, as it is one of the most beautiful, astonishing, and unique sci-fi films I've ever seen, displaying masterpiece filmmaking at its absolute finest, and I mean every single word of that. I just, like I said, I go more spoiler details and stuff like that about the film. So make sure you watch the film, and then you check out our on the Movie Nerd James YouTube channel, the top 10 2010s films. Just absolutely incredible film. One of my favorite. Sam Raimi's Evil Dead will always be my favorite directorial debuts ever, but Alex Garland is like in my top 5 of like best director debuts I've ever seen. We just got done talking about The Lighthouse, and same thing with Ex Machina is every bit of that as well. It's a bottled movie. It literally takes place in this science facility by Nathan, and like I said, he's like a billionaire that's come up with a search engine and stuff like that, but he's also tapped into a way to use this search engine to absolutely tap into artificial intelligence. So he ends up making Ava, and I'll leave it at that. But it's just absolutely incredible. And like I said in my review, the visual effects on Ava are stunning. And yeah. I had the privilege of I seen it back in 2014. And then I got the privilege of seeing the 10-year anniversary last year of Ex Machina on the IMAX screen. And still, even in the IMAX screen of 70 millimeter, it's still absolutely stunning. Just absolutely stunning. And the visual effects are just jaw-dropping and so good. And like I said, it's so good to see the beautiful tricks and the writing that Alex Garland does in this. Does a lot of infusion of like Alice in Wonderland through the looking glass, things like that. And then the Turing test, and how you can craft that into like a nightmarish, like psychological horror film and things like that. So it's sci-fi, it's horror, it's drama, thriller, whatever you want to throw at it. It's just infused so beautifully by Alex Garland, and I absolutely adore this film. Rob Hardy, who did the cinematography, a beautifully shot film, and like I said, just a challenge of like you're just a bottled episode. You're in this facility and all that stuff. So just to visually make that so engaging for so long, or for a full feature-length film is just absolutely incredible. So yeah, but no, I just it's one of those films too that I get amped up and just so excited to go see. Even though I pop in the Blu-ray in, and like I said, I've done this with many of my top films, but every time I go to pop in Ex Machina, I take a couple of seconds and I look at the Blu-ray case, and I'm like, God, I love you. I'm just like, I love this film so much. It's just absolutely incredible. But yeah, that's what I had in my number one of my A24 was Alex Garland's Ex Machina. But yeah, definitely check it out. Like I said, HBO Max, they have all the A24 catalog films on there, so if you're into streaming, but I recommend go get the physical copy in your hand. I'm a big supporter of physical media and all that stuff. It's just absolutely incredible film. definitely check it out. But yeah, that's what I had at number 1.
It's good. Good pick.
All right, cool. I'll let you take it away first, or I can go first if I cut you off guard. Did you want to go through your 6 films real quick again?
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, why don't you go ahead because I already closed my computer. I just want to make sure I got it right. Go ahead on yours, and then I'm going to open it back up so I will have it correct.
Cool. And then at number 6 of and once again, like I said, we're not saying this is like a power ranking. These are the best ones. This is just personally what our favorite films are by A24. And then at number 6, I had Under the Skin by Jonathan Glazer. At number 5, I had Robert Eggers' The Witch, which was the first A24 film I ever watched. And then at number 4, I had The Daniels' Everything Everywhere All at Once. At number 3, I had Ari Aster's Hereditary. And then at number 2, I had Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. And then, of course, at number 1, I had Alex Garland's Ex Machina. All right,
Very good. Very good. Yeah, I got mine back up. My number 6 was the horror comedy Y2K. I think it's on HBO Max right now. Obviously part of the A24 catalog on there, but it's been popping up a lot on the home screen lately. I don't know why. And then I have also at my number 5, the Hereditary. Go see it if you haven't, but be prepared. And then my number 4 is the start of the trilogy is X. And my number 3 is Nicolas Cage, Fever Dream Scenario. James definitely needs to check that dude out so we can chat about it a little bit more. Yeah. And then my number 2 is Swiss Army Man. Wacky, fun. Definitely check it out. And then my number 1, it is my number 1 because I think it is the number 1, is Everything Everywhere All at Once. So, it was fun. I enjoyed it. And for an impromptu put a list together, I think it was fun.
Yeah, and like I said, I appreciate it, and I appreciate Chad. Thank you for joining for your first Instagram live and live video in general and stuff like that. So this is a lot of fun. Like I said, I want to transition more over to like a video format of the channel. So I'm taking those baby steps and stuff like that. But I hope everybody enjoyed. This was literally the last minute. Like we planned this like a couple hours ago. I was literally working on my list and all that stuff because I ended up going. From work, I ended up going to seeing Weapons again because me and Chad are actually here soon going to be doing a spoiler talk for the Zach Cregger's Weapons and stuff like that. So just to freshen up, I went and seen that. Ran by, got something to eat, ran home, jumped in the shower, got my notes together when we did this and all that stuff. So hopefully it turned out well, and I appreciate the people that joined and everybody that's checking out the video as well. And then like before, happy anniversary to the 13-year anniversary to A24. Such an amazing studio. I can't wait to see more films from the studio. I'm so excited. I love everything they do. Like I said, it's a studio that actually feels like you actually see the full vision of the filmmaker and stuff like that instead of filming like a studio product. And I absolutely love that. And like I said, I just one of the best distribution studios out there, and the filmmakers that they've discovered along the way that have grown up to be really big and stuff like that. So just a lot of thankfulness to the studio because I really do love A24, and then I love that. But yeah, I'd love to do like a neon too. That'd be fun too, like our top favorite neon films or whatever. So, but yeah, I absolutely love this. And just like we did on this live video, everybody, please go down in the comments. Let us know what is your top 6 favorite A24 films and stuff like that. And of course, throw honorable mentions, your favorite performances, favorite shots, favorite characters, all that stuff. So celebrate the awesome studio of A24. And once again, Chad, thank you so much for doing this, man.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You know, I love talking movies with you and stuff. We've been doing that for a long time, and this is just the new frontier of that. So I enjoyed it for sure. It's nice to after work to reprogram my brain a bit and be thinking about other things. So it's been a good getaway for the evening. So I've really had a good time. So thanks for letting me do it with you.
Yep. And once again, guys, like I said, I really enjoyed this. Like I said, make sure you follow the Movie Nerd James Instagram page. We have a YouTube channel as well. Make sure you subscribe to that. And of course, guys, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and long live cinema. Bye.